So what kind of art do you appreciate, or what's your favorite sculpture in Chicago?
Wow, that's a tough question.
Wow, what the hell? I don't have one of those.
What
If
are
you
your
asked
favorite
me that, I'd
sculptures in
freeze.
Chicago?
I would freeze on that. If I'm Rory, I'd be like, that's not fair. Rory, do you have a favorite
It doesn't. I
sculpture?
don't. It's
Like,
okay.
like
It's not.
landmark,
It might not be fair.
landmark.
How about landmark?
I meant landmark.
Landmark.
I didn't mean like a sculpture, like an art, like a landmark.
Well, am I allowed to say my Navy Pier and Marina building?
Yes,
I
please
love
do.
that. What great marketing.
Yes, you can.
Right?
Rory,
you
well
can.
played on that highly unusual question.
That'll
know why
be
there's
yours if
Move
somebody
next.
asks you
It's
that,
Brian
yeah.
now.
Wait, hold on. We live in the city of Chicago. It's not a crazy question. We have the best
You
architecture.
didn't say landmark. You said sculpture. No
Well,
one knows what the hell you're talking
Like
about.
the bean. You know, you have the bean. You have the
I
fountain.
just said that.
How about we get him on this, Rory? How about name 5 sculptures in Chicago, smartass? Bet you probably couldn't do that. Brian, do you have a
Well,
question?
there was
Brian, do you have a
the-
question for
There
Rory
was
so
the
that we
Marilyn
don't...
Monroe statue. There was.
Welcome to the CEO Bros Podcast, After Hours, with Brian Balduf, co-founded, grew, and sold VHT Studios. Brad Balduf, CEO and co-founder of By Your Side Autism Therapy Services. Matt Croke, the consummate entertainer, jack of all trades, and serves as our host.
It is another Friday night, and it is a time to celebrate with a podcast. Welcome, everybody. Brad, Brian.
Right?
And tonight is a very special Friday night because we have a guest joining us from Zoom, Rory Rubin, co-founder and CEO of SI Container Builds. Rory, welcome to the podcast.
Wait a minute. Before Rory says anything, Rory,
He's been trying to do this all.
you
Go
got
ahead.
one of those
Yep.
names like how Chicago Bulls used to do. The woman in the middle. Rory Rubin. Okay,
I
sorry.
love it.
I just had to do
Perfect.
that. Okay, here we
I'm
go.
going to
We'll
start
put in a
doing
little-
that when I announce myself and go into a room.
Rory,
Put a little of that
welcome.
music behind it.
Welcome, Rory.
Rory, you have one of these businesses I didn't even know existed. Like, I'm so excited for this conversation. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And I heard something you mentioned before, like this is big in other countries. I want to dive into that. We really also want to talk about your journey, like the journey of being a CEO.
Oh, yeah.
So just in general, to start off with, where are you right now in terms of your journey, your mindset? How are you? How are you? Just how are you? How you doing?
I'm good, actually. I'm not in the factory right now. I just got home just a little bit while ago. So the journey has been 7 years strong,
Wow.
Nice.
and it seems like no longer than 6 years and 300 days. It's been a journey. It really has. I know that you can appreciate the journey of a CEO and a startup, and I don't consider us a startup anymore. We're definitely teenagers, but moving into teenage stage, there's all kinds of new things and unexpected things that you can only plan so much of your life, and then you just kind of have to go with the flow and say some prayers in the middle. So it's all good.
Rory, so I mean, look at your background. I mean, you were in management consulting, you were in training, and now you hop into taking, for the viewing audience out there, you're taking storage containers and you're turning them into livable, habitable places for people of all different walks of life to actually use as housing. I mean, can you just give a quick high-level perspective on what we're doing here? Because it's really interesting.
So my background is actually clinical social work, so that makes it even more ridiculously weird. Sitting here as a CEO of a modular manufacturing company, and people often ask, how can a social worker be doing this? But I think you'll appreciate that I do social work every day, so that leadership role. So I found that in my late 40s, I have this ongoing joke with my husband where I had my midlife crisis. And I said, I want to start a company. And he said, are you sure you don't just want a sports car? Because that's what people do.
Be easier.
Be a lot easier.
And I said that now I look back, maybe that was easier. But at the end of the day, my dad was an architect. I grew up around construction. I grew up around the desire to make things better and to have sort of that purpose in life. And so founded SI Container Builds. The SI actually stands for Sustainable Imprints.
Okay.
And when I was researching, what does it mean to start a manufacturing company and really where is that niche that I wanted to go with it? I saw that truly other countries have been doing these for decades. And there are other companies in the US doing it, but nothing in Illinois, not to what we're doing it. So we're licensed and certified. Our factory is north of Chicago. And so we're licensed and certified in all 50 states. And what we do is we take exactly what you guys see all the time, those shipping containers that cross the ocean one time, and we take them right off the docks or on the train from the trains. And the thing that people don't realize is we don't ship them back. So it's an environmental crisis, and there's more than 26 million of them just sitting around. So we are still an import-driven country, and so most of our goods come from overseas, and they all come over in containers. And then once the container gets dropped off, all the goods get unloaded, unpacked. They send them to basically a shipyard or a graveyard of shipping containers.
Because it's
So
too expensive to ship back, I would assume.
it's not worth it. China
Yeah.
can make a new one.
It's so
Wow,
funny.
I didn't know that at all.
Rory, I had a question along the way. It was going to be like, hey, do you have any fun facts for our viewing audience? Did you just spit one out in the first like 30 seconds, which was like 26 million containers come over. They don't go back. And it's causing a landfill crisis of like these shelters just sitting, or
What
not
an
shelters, these
opportunity.
containers.
Yeah.
I'm giving them too much credit to say they're shelters as containers. They are containers when they come over, and you're taking them and repurposing them into shelters and housing.
So it's what we do is we truly look at it as we're taking a core 10 steel structure that if you're building a skyscraper, you're using steel, right? The same way. So we're taking this steel structure, we're building to building code. So containers have been legally allowed to be repurposed for residential, commercial, and industrial use space since the 2018 codes. So people don't realize
That's new.
it's legal.
Wow.
It's legal.
It's like we're all like,
Wait,
it's legal.
you say that like you've had to tell one or two people that. You had to
Oh
convince
my
them.
gosh. People are like, I'll go to a municipality and like, oh, we can have shipping containers in our backyard, a rusty old box. You're not doing that. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's actually legal. And second of all, when I repurpose it to building code and I clad it to blend into your community, you're not going to know that it's a Core 10 steel box as a structure because we literally blend them into the community that they're going to be in. So you can think of it as very modern, or you can think of it as like hardy board or, faux brick or stucco
Yeah.
or whatever it is that we do.
And Rory, so, one of the things we talk about through our prior episodes is, as a CEO, as a founder, getting a business off the ground, everything revolves around getting the customer, right? The first customer, getting revenue going, getting underway, because revenue is the salve that heals all wounds, is the thing I always say. If you don't have revenue, you have a tough time running a business. So who or what organization or who actually became your targeted first customer or group of customers? Like what do you go after as an ideal customer with a container turned into a shelter?
So I
or house?
appreciate the question because in the last 7 years, we've done some pivoting, as a lot of startups do. We started off thinking, oh, well, we can do this for everybody anywhere because they're legal. And then you realize that that's not exactly the right philosophy, is to throw darts at a dartboard. So when we got into our factory, we actually got our seed funding from a group of angel investors and from Hyde Park Angels, HPA, which is a pretty prestigious angel investment group in the Chicago area. And the idea was, if we're going to really help people do this correctly, we've got to do this to scale. And so scaling our business is really where we're at now. So our ideal customer is a B2B customer. It would be a developer, it would be a nonprofit, or it would be a commercial entity, or one of our manufactured reps, so that we can reproduce something over and over again, or or similarly, so that we can save you money with materials and labor because we're building all year round, and we can keep producing something, and that just makes a lot more sense for us now.
Was that pivot disruptive, or were you able to continue doing what you did and just gradually go to the B2B, or was it such a sharp turn that it really put a strain on cash flow and other operations?
I wouldn't say it was a sharp turn. We were learning our trade, basically. So, the advantage of being in my 50s is that I know
What?
Cheers to being in the
Oh,
50s.
come on.
Cheers to being in the 50s.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. I couldn't believe
Double
it. I would have
nickels.
said much younger. Much younger.
and then
I like how
I
we're
know-
drinking to that.
you could drink.
we're in our 50s.
And I just,
Hey,
I just
I'm
came off
almost
a
gonna be
girls'
50.
trip in Nashville, and you got to celebrate wherever you can.
Are you, wait a minute, Rory, are you still in Nashville now? Or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm back, but it
Fun
was a
town.
great girls'
Fun town. Hopefully it was a girls' fun trip to Nashville.
Well, what happens in Nashville?
Yeah, you
There
can,
we go. Beautiful. Love Nashville. I was
It's
just
great.
there. I was just there a week ago, so I love it. It's great.
Okay,
not
so
for a
you know
not for a
exactly-
girls trip though. Okay,
You
sorry.
can come on
So
our
he
next
says.
girls' trip. That's
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah, that would be great. Love it. Where did we leave off?
And the pivoting. She said it
pivot.
wasn't so much.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Pivoting.
The whole pivot, it wasn't complicated to actually pivot, but what was happening is that we wound up getting two very wonderful bespoke projects that took up our whole factory.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm telling you that I want to scale, and then we get a developer coming in to have us build the very first Navy Pier marina building down at downtown Chicago.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Which was phenomenal, changed the skyline of Chicago, but it literally took up our whole factory for a while.
Rory, as it relates to that, though, I actually saw that you were doing some other things like your product line includes Step into Serenity, like salt pods, meditation pods, saunas. Is that something like, hey, that's wishful thinking, that's optimistic, we'd like to get there? Or is like, no, that's actually a product offering we have, and we actually want to bring it out, and that's actually a targeted client we'd go after. Maybe it's a group of maybe it's a group of hotels or in the hospitality. Where do you see that going? Is that part of your product line, or is that kind of next steps down the road after you start getting further advanced?
That was actually one of our first product lines. We partnered with the actress Taraji Henson and her foundation and Kate Spade New York to do wellness pods on HBCU campuses. And so it was to support young Black women's mental health. And so there were yoga studios and therapeutic studios for the girls, and we did it on 3 different HBCU campuses. And so that is one of our product line offerings that we use the containers for.
That's awesome. That's very cool. So, I mean, it literally sounds like you, I mean, as a CEO, do you find yourself struggling with, like, which way do I take this? Because there's so many different opportunities, options, or different travel paths to go with this that you feel like we can go this way, we can go this way. Because that's something a lot of founders, CEOs get into, like, where they've got a lot of great ideas, but if you start going multiple paths and you start losing where your core focus is, that becomes a problem. Do you feel the same way?
100% something that I can relate to, because when you're chasing business and you're a young company and revenue is everything to you and it's precious, you want to bring in business wherever you're looking at the time. We're starting to get our focus now because we've learned our trade, we have proof of concept, we have stuff in the marketplace, we've worked with some big name people, and we really know that if we do more than one lane, so to speak, that it's really because we need to scale something so that we could take on a bespoke project. So, for example, we might do a whole bunch of bathroom pods for a developer or a larger construction project all over the country. But that would be a lane that would be scalable, and then I could take on another group home or something like that. So that's the social worker in me. So you've got to balance all of that. Otherwise, I really could tell you that the container can be repurposed. If you can imagine it, I've got an architect and an engineer that can design it. We could build it.
But you know, sorry.
Sounds wonderful, but hard.
And that's good. So what I find fascinating about that is that your mind and your logic and your creativity probably is outpacing people going, wait, what is this? Are you still trying to sell the concept of not only is it legal, which you're very passionate about, but it's also a good idea? You can build them faster. I'm guessing there's some kind of cost savings as well. What's that battle of convincing everyone else how great of an idea this is?
So I never realized as a CEO that 85% of my job was going to be around education and spending time out in the field talking about what we do. I did not realize that what was really going to be where my job lay, but that's truly where I spend my time. Every single person I come in contact with, unless they're from another country and has seen this done before, I have to start from scratch. We're doing this, it's greener, it's sustainable, we're 20% cheaper, we're 50% faster. You know, these are all of the, and these are the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. Oh, and by the way, it's steel, so it's going to outlive all of our wood frame homes that we're living in now. Yeah.
So what you said you've been
hit the
doing
nail
this.
on the head.
You said you've been doing it 7 years. What has been the biggest challenge in a business like this or in your journey? And we talk about everything on this show, from sales and marketing to funding to inventory to, legal issues. I'm just curious, what have been some of the bigger hurdles for you?
Yeah, I would say funding would be one. You know, we've bootstrapped most of the company over the last 7 years, besides the seed and our group of angel investors. We're in a capital raise right now because the way we see what we do is we have a $240 million pipeline right now, and that's growing like crazy. I would say the second is that I can't be everything to everybody as a CEO. And so figuring out where my real true role is so that I can hire some people now with this next capital raise it just has to happen. It really does. I can't be the educator, the salesperson, the marketing person, and all of that. And as a smaller business, you really do wear all those hats. And my husband's the same way. He's worn the hat of operations. He's worn the hat of the CFO. We just all chip in, and the people that we've hired all chip in too.
We've talked about that a couple times in some of our episodes. That's one of the toughest things, is the letting go of certain parts of the business because you can't do it all. And finding that right person, setting the right expectations, managing those people or those teams, and letting go, like letting them run with it, whether you agree or not.
You got that zest to do it, and you feel like, I'm gonna do it better than this person. I'm gonna, in this area, I'm gonna do that better because this is my, this is my baby.
It is my baby.
You're running with it, and so to Brian's point, it's almost like, how can somebody else do this better than me, as far as communicating this or running point on this or driving operations on this, but the reality is, if you don't take a step back and look at it from a higher level view, you are going to trip up, and it could create more lasting damage to the business. So how have you been doing with that then? Do you feel like, hey, if I had to give myself a grade, I'm doing okay, I'm C here, I'm still struggling with it? Or, because there's a lot of young potential business owners that are out there that don't realize what they're going to get into until they get into it, where they've got to wear multiple hats. So where would you put yourself if you had to grade yourself on how that's going? And if you have any tips, like, here's how I'm doing it, or here's how I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, I think I have good days and not so good days. I think that with the capital raise, it will loosen some of those things up, and I will feel good about letting some of the things go, so that I can truly be out there as a leader and lead, the team, and being out in public. I would say there are days where I'm like bogged down in things that I wish I didn't have to be bogged down in, and could I be asking for help? I would say that's a woman founder, not such a great thing to be. We don't learn how to ask for help very well. And so that is a learning process for me, for sure. But I see where the company is growing and the need. You can't open up a publication anywhere and not realize that we're in a housing crisis. And when the Cranes publish, either the Trib or the Cranes publish that the average house for affordability is like $600,000 in downtown Chicago, it makes me want to choke, because I don't know too many people at middle income that can afford a $600,000 house. And if that's affordability, that's why I'm doing my job. So it's just pushing forward and saying, okay, I got to do this. When we get this money in, we're going to hire this person and this person, and we're going to all work together to blend this together better.
What department or what area did you hire or pass off onto that was the most challenging to say, I need to let this person run with it? Obviously, report back to me, but I need to let this person run with it.
Yeah, marketing and PR was my first,
Okay.
for sure. It's not something that I feel comfortable with. My husband is the numbers guy, so he's going to do that. I was never going to step on those toes. I'm much more of the big picture thinker. He's the analytical thinker. It's like you really got to know what you're good at and what you're not. But from a marketing standpoint, that was not my background, and I knew it, but I could understand that. But I needed to pass that on to a couple of consultants because they just do a better job. They really do.
Oh, I'd argue that right now. I mean, you're sitting on a podcast creating awareness around your product. You seem to be a natural at it.
Well,
You know what I
well,
mean?
you just said, Rory, 85% of your time is an educator. I think you're probably a better marketer than you think you are.
Well, I think you have to be. Like, people joke with me. I've spent a lot of time giving presentations, teaching classes, but at the end of the day, that's not actually what I love. I'm kind of an introvert at heart. I have to be out there. I'm sort of the face of the business. So it's that catch-22. You sometimes have to do what you don't love to get to where you love.
She calls herself an introvert, but yet we have pictures of her with a lampshade on her head downtown Nashville on Broadway, dancing in
No,
Let's
bars.
cut to those
We
pictures.
already set the rules. What happens in
Wouldn't
Nashville?
that be great if we actually had a picture and
could
put it
cut
up
to
there,
that.
and Rory's like, how
Yeah,
the
Rory's
hell
like,
did
yeah,
you
that'd
get
be
that?
amazing.
I'm sure AI could do
Naughty.
that.
You're very
AI
naughty.
can, by the way, AI can do that, so we could pull that together for you.
So I'm curious, Rory. My background, I haven't had a lot of experience with manufacturing. It's been software and services, but you talked earlier about scaling that and standardizing. Do you have like production lines? That's what I always think of with manufacturing. Like, we got to add another line. We got to add another line. Is that how it works, or?
It is. So we actually take the container, and you're not so far away. So I would love for you guys to come visit the factory. I think it would be really, really cool.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, not now. Not now. I don't think she meant right
she
now.
meant-
That's my bad. No, she meant in the future.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Well, we can't bring the booze with us.
That's right.
She better have booze there.
No, by the way, yes to that, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes. I mean, I wanted to come up to see you guys, and now I need you guys to come to see me for sure. The idea is the way we have structured our factory, and we had a consultant come in to help us, is so that our output would be 1 unit per day, and 1 unit would be 1 40-foot container. And a 1 40-foot container could be used for multiple things. It could be a 1-bedroom, it could be a piece of a 3-bedroom. Think of containers as being Legos. And so ultimately it would go through our factory system, from getting in to painting to drywall to electric to plumbing to whatever that container is supposed to have inside, and then export out and put right back on a flatbed truck.
Wow.
And so we have it set up to be able to do that for 1 container a day.
Is that robots, or is that people, or a little bit of both, or?
It's right now, it's all people. There is definitely room to add in more technology. We're adding in an AI ERP system right now that's also tied to a few of our other systems. But I do talk with people that have robotics and other types of manufacturing tools, or cool things that we could do. But right now it's simple enough that we get the structure itself, and then people work on the boxes.
So I mean, we should picture basically a fabricated house, fully fabricated, electrical, plumbing, all that you would find in a typical house or condo, and it's being picked up, moved by flatbed, dropped somewhere else, and it's ready to move in. Turnkey.
Yeah, it's turnkey. And that's where our advantage is. And that's why we're licensed and certified, so that people can say we're doing things correctly. I'm not just throwing in a bunch of electric and praying that the lights go on. I have certified electricians. I have certified plumbers. I have, we're using the right R value in the walls. So when you walk into one of our containers, you will think you're in a home. You're not thinking, oh, I'm in a container. So people will often think, oh, I'm going to be in a box and it's going to be tight. It doesn't work like that. When I tell you about the 7,000 square foot group home, it's truly a home where it has a kitchen. It has places for the girls to congregate, places for the girls to have computer systems and offices and bedrooms and bathrooms, and containers are meant to stack. They come over on the boat 9 high. So if you think about it, we're perfect for the multifamily. So that's just made it was perfectly made to be recycled to do what we're doing.
Listen how good she is.
You're a marketer.
She's got this
You're a
down.
marketer,
Do
Rory.
you think she's been asked this once or twice?
She's like,
Rory, you've got it
nine
down.
high,
It is
off the boat.
You are so
26
compelling.
million. Yeah,
Hearing you talk, you are so compelling. You've got it down.
This is like her fifth
Well,
podcast
you know.
tonight, right?
Yeah,
Well,
your fifth
well,
podcast
no,
tonight.
I think that means she's probably answering these questions. It's such a creative idea. You probably have to keep answering them over and over again.
Rory, you did touch on manufacturing, and is there a stigma that in manufacturing, do people perceive it as it's a male-dominated industry? Did you have to break any barriers as it related to, hey, manufacturers potentially a male-dominated industry, real estate sales, as Brian mentioned, working at VHT Studios or being over VHT Studios, you said that a real estate agent was a woman. You said like
Mostly,
the
yeah.
profile doesn't mean all of them. But did you finally get to break that barrier down, Roy, to literally just be in the industry itself?
I hope I've broken the barrier a little bit. I'm not just in manufacturing, I'm also in construction. So if you think about those two fields together, and you think about how many women could you possibly have you met that are in manufacturing or in construction, the number is very few and far between. So I do seek that out a lot because it's really nice to be able to find other women in the industry, but there are not very many of us. There just aren't. It's just the way it is. Right now, it will grow.
Well, question for you, since you have such a unique product, pricing is always a interesting question for entrepreneurs. And you don't have to go into specifics or give anything away, but how do you view your pricing decisions and strategy? Are you pricing it like real estate? Are you pricing it cost plus? Or do you have competitors that have already set the market for pricing? How do you think about it?
Great question. And I actually love to be able to address that. So we know we're cheaper because we've done a lot of market research. We price like a regular real estate would price because we're insured the same way. We're comped the same way. So real estate agents will comp us. We're insured. The bank will look at a pro forma the same way when we're doing a multifamily design. So we want to price it like a per square foot type of price that people can really relate to and understand. And we know we're 20% cheaper and truly 50% faster because I'm working all year round in a factory. So I don't have to worry about snow and pouring rain and hurricanes and tornadoes and, all the things that cross on-site building that I just don't have to worry about.
Rory, I mean, thinking about a younger woman, potential entrepreneur, someone that's just wanting to get started in the business, think, 20-something, wanting to get, start their own business. What can you think about looking back in all of your years of experience that you would give as words of wisdom, things for that young entrepreneur to think about?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit about what we just talked about. There's two things that come to mind. One is you don't have to do it all. So surround yourself with the things that you don't do well with the people that do them better than you. You need to have a team. You can't do it alone. I would say there's three things. Number two is it takes a lot more money than you can imagine, always.
Money and time. It always takes more money and more time.
Right? And there are going to be some really low days, and you just have to cut yourself some slack. Realize like maybe this is just a low week for me. And if you're really passionate, just keep digging in and keep, getting up every day and putting a little bit in because it's a ride. It is a journey. It is not for everybody. I sometimes think there's a difference between an entrepreneur that, wants to start their own company and an entrepreneur with a big idea. You can still have a big idea and have somebody else implement it for you. You don't always have to be that entrepreneur that's going to do that work. It's not for everybody. It's hard. It's hard every day.
We talk about it a lot. You have to be all in. And a lot of people don't realize what that means. They think, oh yeah, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to put in a lot of hours, but there's a lot of other sacrifices and commitments that come with it that you find out later on. And that's really the test, I think.
Yeah, and when you're at that lowest point, it's that I have to get up tomorrow. I'm the one that has to be there. I'm the one that has to put that work in, and it's not 1 day, 1 week, 1 year. I'm 7 years into it.
Yeah.
It's in it for the long haul. Like you just said, it really is. And so,
So what's the future of the company? What does the next 7 years look like?
I mean, really, the future of the company is this housing crisis isn't going away anytime soon.
No, this is crazy.
I would like to believe that there are investors out there that don't want to just invest in AI and technology and see that we need to put roofs over people's heads, and that what we're doing is a truly innovative way and a more affordable way to do that. And so I just know that this company has a bright future. There's just a lot of purpose out there. I'm excited.
Did the Navy Pier help? You said it's probably
I would say, I mean, from a PR perspective,
yeah.
right? Like, I mean, that's something, it's never been done before, ever, anywhere. So I can say I've done something super unique.
Yeah.
We built a 2-story building on Lake Michigan. It's literally on piers on the water.
Wow.
It didn't even have an address, and so it had the first boating season. It was very successful. Those kinds of things always help when people can actually see your product out there. It makes a big difference. That's why I was encouraging you guys to come down to the factory, because once you see it, it really makes a big difference.
Is it, Rory? Is it up right now? Is it actually built, or you've got the contract to build it and it will be built?
It's built.
It's
It's
built.
built. It went through its first summer. It took 10 years in the making. Chicago never had a transient marina, which means people from Wisconsin and Michigan would drive their boats down and not have a place to park a boat for an hour, for a day, for a weekend. So this marina talk about income for the city. It's a wonderful revenue generation for the city. And we built the Boaters Amenities Lounge. So it gave lounge space, bathrooms, showers,
Wow.
laundry, a general manager area, a place for the boaters to, commune and have, just a few hours or a few days worth of time. So it just closed for the season. It was open all season.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Oh, and by the way, I mean, the city sold off its parking, so I'm sure they'll figure a way to sell off the marina too and lose all opportunities to pull any revenue in from that, because that's the city of Chicago. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Bears.
Yeah, go Bears.
Well, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? So Rory said they could build anything. She's invited us to come down there.
Okay.
We're looking for a new studio. Studio
I
C.
think
Studio.
SI is the new partners of CEO
or at
Bros.
least an episode.
Or
there.
Studio C.
Or
Studio
at
C.
least-
Studio C.
At least one episode should be.
We have to do
recorded.
an episode
We have to
out
at
of
least an episode
SI.
in one of those.
Can we do that?
I would love that. That would be so fun. We could do it inside the container.
Yes.
I could do a temporary studio. I could do anything like
Oh my
that.
lord,
God.
we're loving this. Well, Roy, we're gonna take you up on that. That's gonna be exciting. Let's wait for the weather to clear. I think the weather's going the other direction in Chicago, but we got to do that. That's gonna be on the
We're
radar.
going to be
for
inside.
spring.
What are you talking about?
It will be inside. You're right. Will it be heated inside the container?
No, it's in the
course.
warehouse. Yes.
I was trying to give her an opportunity to just promote it further. It's like fully heated, electrical,
Fully heated.
lighting. Let's do a little speed check here with Rory. We're gonna do kind of fast and furious questions at you. How about what's your favorite movie, Rory? What's something that comes to mind that resonates with you that you'll find yourself watching 10, 15 times if you had the opportunity?
I'm really going to embarrass myself here because I never ever thought that I was going to love this whole series. So my husband and I binged the Downton Abbey series, and we just went to the Downton Abbey movie. And that is, if everyone who knows me would say, I cannot believe that's you, but I loved it. I was so into this period movie and the period series.
I haven't. We're gonna have to watch. I don't know that.
You don't know Downton Abbey?
No.
Oh, it's huge.
You gotta be kidding.
It's huge.
No.
Yeah.
And there's movies now. They've
I've
made
been in-
movies.
I've been
I think
in
there's
Studio
another
G.
movie coming out soon, right?
I'm gonna stick with the creative route because I think you're also a lot part artist that we haven't talked about or dove into. So what kind of art do you appreciate, or what's your favorite sculpture in Chicago?
Wow, that's a tough question.
Wow, what the hell? I don't have one of those. If
have
you
your
asked
favorite
me that, I'd
sculpture in
freeze.
Chicago?
I would freeze on that. If I'm Rory, I'd be like, that's not fair. Rory, do you have a favorite
It doesn't- I
sculpture?
don't- it's
Like
okay, it's not-
landmark,
it might not be
landmark.
How about landmark?
I meant landmark.
Landmark.
I didn't mean like a sculpture, like an art, like a landmark.
Well, am I allowed to say my Navy Pier and Marina building?
Yes,
I
please
love
do.
that. What great marketing.
Yes, you can.
Right?
Yes,
Rory,
you
well
can.
played on that highly unusual question.
That'll
why
be
they
yours if
Move
somebody
next.
asks you
It's
that
Brian
day.
now.
Wait, hold on. We live in the city of Chicago. It's not a crazy question. We have the best
You
architecture.
didn't say landmark. You said sculpture. No
Well,
one knows what the hell you're talking
Like the
about.
bean. You have the bean. You have the
I
fountain.
just said that.
How about we get him on this, Rory? How about name 5 sculptures in Chicago, smartass? I bet you probably couldn't do that. Brian, do you have a
Well,
question?
there was
Brian, do you have a
the-
question for
There
Rory
was
so
the
that we
Marilyn
don't...
Monroe statue. There was.
Too funny.
Brian, do you have anything?
Yeah, I always like to ask, what has been a big inspiration to you, either a person or a book or an event, or something that you look like that inspired me, even if it's outside of business, just in life or.
There's 2 people that have inspired me. I have a lot of mentors. I have phenomenal mentors in my life, and I'm appreciative. But the 2 people that have really inspired me to work hard and do something with passion is my dad, who's an architect who's still alive, and my husband, who actually has more grit than I do sometimes. And that's what it takes. You got to have someone that says, we got this.
We got this. We can
Do this. And
All
so
right.
after
She is so
34 years together, that's,
Congrats. Nice.
thank you.
That's incredible. And
Wait a
for Mr. Rubin that's out there, she's looking to she wants something purchased down the road. So you better get yourself queued up for that. She's looking for a new car. She's looking for some
She
handbag.
passed on the new
By the
car.
way,
car.
her dad was in architecture. My sculpture question should not really be
It
that.
wasn't so weird. It wasn't so weird.
Well, Rory, listen, we really appreciate you taking the time. I mean, this is such a unique company. I think you got such a great opportunity ahead of you. Is there anything, I guess, that you'd like to share about your company in closing? Is there like a phone number? Is there an email? Is there anybody that's interested in learning more about this that you could share? And we'll obviously put it up on the screen, but is there anything you care to share in closing here about the company?
Yeah, of course. So I'm reachable very easily through email, rory@sicbs.com. And certainly we will give tours to people who are developers, to nonprofits, commercial entities, anytime. I think sometimes that makes a big difference when they can touch and feel the product and really see what we're doing. So always available for that.
That's fantastic. Well,
Nice.
I think it's great.
Congratulations. on all
All
your
right.
success.
Congratulations,
All right,
Rory.
that's-
Thank you
yeah,
for
that's a
joining
great
us.
conversation.
Rory.
Appreciate it.
I was going to try to connect sculpture and subscribe
You
button,
can't.
but I
You should
can't.
let that
So
go.
hit that
That's,
subscribe button, hit the like button, send us an email. We'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rory.
Thanks,
We'll
Rory.
see ya.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.